Hey everybody, welcome back to my layout. This will be a layout update for October 2017. We'll take a look at this pair of DC Athearn Genesis locomotives that I just got, as well as an update on the wiring of the layout and where I'm at with the Cork, and starting to do a little bit of scenery stuff. So let's get started. So these two Athearn Genesis SD70ACes just came in. I ordered these a long time ago. I think it was like summer of 2016. They were running around Alberta for a little while like this, 8101 and 8102. So I ordered them just straight DC. I just got tired of redoing the lighting in the Athearn Genesis, so I'm going to put my own decoder in. Not sure what I'm going to do yet. I really like the TCS decoders. I might try one of those. Or else I'll just put ESU locks on and then do all my own LED lighting. It's kind of what I was thinking I'll do. So someday when I get back to working on locomotive projects, these two will get decoders and LED lighting and everything. And they'll run on my layout like this because I really like this paint scheme. I thought this was really sharp looking. The camera doesn't really do the paint job on these justice either. Like if you look at it, when you're looking at it in person, it's almost like they've almost got like glitter in the paint or something. It's pretty cool. They actually look really neat. It looks a little bit flat on the camera, but yeah, in person the paint job is really sharp on these. So that's it for new stuff. So let's take a look at what's new on the layout. So absolutely nothing new to show you on the CN side of the layout. Alright, I haven't touched that reverse loop either. I've really been avoiding wiring up that switch control panel. It just seems like I don't want to do anything else but that. So I spent most of the month, the little time that I did have, just finishing the main track bus wiring for the CP side of the layout. So you can see all the bus wires are run in here now. Here's the ones all on the top, and a few more on the side there as well. Also, here in Alberta, they've been having these government rebates on LED lighting. So Costco had they got a pretty good deal on at Costco right now. So I picked up all these PAR 20 LED bulbs so I can do all the aisles. There's 28 pot lights down here, so I picked up all the bulbs. These are $1 each at Costco right now, so that is an incredible deal. So I got all those. Not the exact color I wanted. They're 3000K, but for $1 a bulb, I'm not really going to be too picky. I wanted something like a daylight, like a 4000K, but they didn't have any. So Costco, you kind of got to go with the one that they have. That's the only way you get the good prices. So yeah, once I get around to it, I'll put those bulbs in and it'll be a lot brighter down here. So over here at the entrance to the CP Points East reverse loop, I've got the bus wire run for the switch panel that will go here eventually. I'm going to make it pretty much identical to the one on the other side. It'll just be a manual, just simple toggle switches. And all the bus wires for the CP side of the layout are all run now. So there you can see under Banff Yard, there's the two mainline buses, and the secondary one, this third one here that's twisted, that's for the yard, which is not on block detection, so then it needs its own bus. So here's an underside view of Banff Yard. You can see there's 3 buses on this one, so any main line that is block detected needs its own dedicated bus. So there's one for the main line, one for the passing siding at Banff, and then you see this twisted one coming in here, and then it splits apart. That is the yard track. All the 3 yard tracks there at Banff, those are not block detected, so they don't need, they have to have their own individual bus wire as well, because you don't want a locomotive sitting on the yard track setting off the block detection and affecting the signals. So while we're talking about the main track buses, I drew this little picture just to kind of help you guys understand, or try to, how my block detection wiring is working. So like we saw in the electrical hub there, and all the main track buses run back to there. All the mainline portions of the layout have to have detection, so each color and number is its own detection block. So there's 12 in total, including the turnouts at the crossovers. They are their own detection section as well, and that is because, say you had a train coming along here, it goes past the signal, the clear signal, and then it goes on to this turnout, and if you didn't have that detected, the signal wouldn't change until the locomotive had passed through the turnout and got onto this next block. So it would be quite a bit delayed compared to the prototype. So this way, when your locomotive gets past the signal head, it'll be about 6 inches in the HO scale or so, and it hits this detected block on the turnout, the signal will turn red, showing the next block is occupied. So it's just kind of a prototypical signal operation thing. And it doesn't take much, it's just an extra 4 detection sections on this thing. So other highlights about wiring it like this, it takes a ton of wire. I've almost gone through 2 300-meter rolls of red and blue, just because you have to have so much wiring. Each one of these, this section here, the blue and the purple, those are 37-foot buses, so they're quite long. There will be 26 searchlight signal heads. They're all the old style searchlights, which is really cool. I'm excited about that. 26 searchlight heads and 2 dwarfs, I think. I'm going to use the Digitrax hardware. So that's the BDL168 for detection. Also have to use a few of those remote sensing detectors, RD2s they're called. And the detection hub will end up being here because that is the shortest run. Basically, that is the middle of the layout in the basement. So there are limits on how far you can be away from your detection section. So for me, I have to run 120 volt plug out to here so I can power this, and I also have to run 120 to here. So there's a whole bunch of wiring I still have to do. So we'll just take a closer look at Lake Louise. So that's where the BDL168 will be, and then the thermostat wire will run out to the remote detectors from there. So I got 18 gauge multicolored wire for that, and then I'm using the Digitrax SE8Cs to power the signal heads. So this is that same spot on the diagram there. So this is the Lake Louise 116 turnout where it splits to the north and the south track. So the BDL168 will be hidden under the layout here, and you can see where this red tuck tape is. I had that insulation pulled out of that, and I ran the wires. A whole bunch of the buses come from the boosters, and they run down the wall there. I could just zoom up here. You can see whole bunch of them going in. So they go in down through the wall there, come in through the insulation, and down under the layout. So eventually, once this gets drywalled, all those wires are all hidden and everything. So the other thing I've been doing, as time permits, is laying cork, and I just finished Lake Louise today. So the 2 sidings here at Lake Louise, there's this short little maintenance away siding, and then there's this long one that they call the chalet spur. The station is up there where the palm sander is. Got all the cork done on that, and I'm just sanding it and kind of finishing the profile where the main line drops down to the sidings. So you can actually see there's 4 different grades here at Lake Louise. There's the north track, which is a prototypical 1% climb. It's beginning at the turnout here on the left. And there's the south track main line, which is pretty much flat here. And then there's the 2 sidings. If you zoom in a little bit more, they drop down from the mainline height. They're lower about a 1/8 of an inch. And then coming back, the chalet spur, it goes down even further. And then it ends up being, the end of it here is a little bit below the mainline at the bottom of the hill. So just using the palm sander to get those transitions nice. Most of it's done with the risers. But there are a few places where I just didn't, like on the chalet spur, I just didn't run the rubber roadbed, so there's it's an 1/8 of an inch drop at the turnouts up at the front there by the palm sander. So just playing around trying to get those grades really nice so that when I do go to lay track there won't be any problems. One thing I had a little bit of trouble with, and I realized that after the fact, but this north track here, so I went to go lay the cork on it, and I realized I actually laid my roadbed was a little bit not straight from one end to the other. Notice how the roadbed goes out here on the left side of the track. You can see it kind of bow out a bit. So that's 16 feet long, that piece there, and I cut 2 pieces straight on my table saw, but I wasn't paying attention when I laid them. It kind of bows out to the left there. So when I was laying the cork, I figured out I was going to use my laser, and I was kind of messing around with it, and it wasn't working very good. And then I thought, oh, I should just use a chalk line. So what I did was snap the line from the very end way up there, snapped a line down to here, just on one of the edges of the cork, and I was able to keep that arrow straight cork roadbed, so when I go to lay the track, I'll have a nice straight surface to lay the track on, because on the prototype it follows this curve to the left and then it's just arrow straight on the climb up. So I wanted to make sure I captured that, and using the chalk line worked really well. So I ended up using the chalk line method on this track as well, the south track main line. Snapped a line from here all the way down to here after it takes this, on the prototype it takes this little wobble after it comes out of the turnout. And I also used it to put this siding in straight as well. So just looking the other way from Lake Louise, this is as far as I've got. I'm just about to the curve here at the wall, and you can see where I'm using that chalk line on the center of this cork to lay all the straight sections. I'm going to do that for the rest of the layout. I wish I would have been doing it on the other side as well. It allows you to lay a really nice straight roadbed. So the only other thing I've been working on, like as I was going with the cork, I got past Lake Louise and I got to this bridge here that's just railroad east of Lake Louise. This bridge goes over the Pipestone River right in the town of Lake Louise. And I realized that I made a mistake. When I was doing the plywood roadbed, I wasn't paying attention to where the supports were. So this one is in the way of this bridge, so I have to take it out. And of course I went and ran bus wires through it before I realized. So I did surgery and I pulled the screws out of here. I got to take this out and put in some diagonal supports. So basically, see these lines here, I'm going to cut these supports out and I'm going to run a diagonal piece here and one on the same side, so that, because the riverbed is right to the bottom of the benchwork there. The plywood will go right on top of this for the riverbed. So I have to redo the support, and there's another one actually I have to do on the other side as well. Can't have a plywood support coming up through the river. So some minor fixing to do on that, and then I can continue on with the cork roadbed. So just looking past. So that's what the Pipestone River Bridge looks like in real life. This view will be the back side of the layout, and the aisle side is here on my layout. It's actually going to be a pretty neat bridge. It's cool. It's two large girder bridges. You can see there. With a central pier that's made out of like masonry. So it's kind of fun. I'm glad I got most of the wiring done. I still have a bunch to do, but it's fun getting into more of the scenery stuff. I'm kind of enjoying figuring out how I'm going to do this Pipestone River Bridge. It's going to be a really cool bridge when it's done, and you can see I was using Google Earth to kind of take some measurements and figure out how I'm going to do this. It's going to be a really cool scene when it's done. The black drawn on here indicates the length of the bridge, of the girder bridge. It's 18 inches long. So that'll wrap up this layout update, guys. I know like 6 months ago I said I was going to be getting ready for drywall. I'm not even close. I didn't realize I had to have all the signaling wiring done too, so that means running all that 18 gauge stuff up in the ceiling and walls. I got to make sure that absolutely all the wiring is done. That means signaling, main track buses, those are done. And any 120 volt plugs I need under the layout anywhere, and any accessory bus wiring. So like, there's still a lot of work to do before I can get to the drywall phase. Other than that, I'm going to keep going on with the cork, because that's something I can do now, and also fixing those like bridge things and supports along the layout. That'll keep me busy probably for a while. So that's what I'll be up to probably over the next month or in a bit. As always, thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.